Good day, students. Welcome to Natural Science and Health Education 3. My name is Ananias Akweterera. I'm going to be your tutor for this subject. Welcome to this subject and enjoy the presentation. I'm going to give this presentation because I want to prepare students for the upcoming examination for April, August, November examination. The content that's going to be presented is going to touch most of important things or information that is likely to be asked in the examination. So pay attention and at least try to pick up as many information as possible. All right. So let's look into moral value versus the influence on decision making, which is regarding, or specifically we look into sexual health. What about moral value? What about how does it influence on decision making? Teachers need to make learners understand completely that moral decisions made out of fear or lack of information are not really related to moral, because if a person is making a decision while the person is afraid or threatened, then the person lacks moral. The person doesn't moral, and that is not moral at all. Learners must understand their own feelings, right? And try to find someone, perhaps, let me say, a pastor, a counselor, or a healthcare provider who can listen to their concern and help them, encourage them, tell them how to improve their morals, how to do their decision makings, when to do their decision makings, so that they can do best decisions and they won't end up at least affecting their life, because wrong decisions can also affect children or learners' life. All right. So let's look into the roles of parents when it comes to teenage pregnancies. What are the roles? What should parents do to contribute to the prevention of teenage pregnancy among their children? Parents can help prevent teenage pregnancy by being involved in their teenage lives and maintaining a close and open relationship, including talking to their teenagers often about sex. Parents, they have enough time to be with their children. Education is also starting at home. So parents, they can always call in their children, talk to them about sex, so that they can prevent unnecessary teenage pregnancies. Let's look into learners' assessment, because that is a very important parameter that is important in education, because a qualified teacher must be able to do perfect learners' assessment. So how about learners' assessment? A teacher should use a wide variety of questions to give a learner a chance to be able to at least to answer different questions, because no one is perfect in everything. At least if a student cannot able to answer true or false, can answer the questions of suggest or describe or clarify, for example. Questions should be asked that require a broad range of high and lower order thinking skills. Mixed questions, right? Because using simple yes or no types questions does not encourage learners to respond by fully thinking through an idea, and it doesn't show whether students understand completely the content of their modules, right? Discussions. In a certain class, there are always certain discussions. So what is the goal of a discussion? It is good practice to restate discussion goal periodically. Why? Because sometimes the purpose of the discussion can go off topic. Hence, or therefore, restating the goal of a discussion from time to time can clarify it to the learners, and it will make learners understand and know what they have to discuss about, right? What are the link between mind map and learners understanding the subject matter or content? Mind map is a tool which is used for learner to easily understand content, right? So it is easy for a learner to see the main idea in the middle of the map, branching into subtopics that contain important keywords or phrases and important key images. That's why mind map is very important and is useful in the class. So each teacher must be able to come up with a very effective mind map for their classes. Reading the mind map is aided by the lettered and numbered labels on each branch so that the reading is in a proper order and sequences. As well, the attractive color pictures related to the fact are placed adjacent to the keywords in order to strengthen the memory for the fact. When students see things, they are likely to memorize them, especially in the mind map. Atoms, elements, and molecules. Students should be able to differentiate between those three. Those three, they are very important. What is the difference between atom, element, and molecule? An atom is a smallest part of the element that can take part in a chemical reaction. An element consists of one kind of atom, each of more than 100 substances that cannot be chemically interconverted or broken down into simpler substances and are primary constituent of matters. Each element, importantly, each element is distinguished or differentiated by its atomic number, which means the number of protons in the nucleus of its atom. Molecule is the smallest particle of a substance that exists independently. Take note of that. How is the formation of certain things such as water and carbon dioxide as compounds? Non-metals combine with each other by sharing electrons to complete their outer shells. Hydrogen atom and oxygen atom shares a pair of electrons to form a single covalent bond. And as I was saying, an atom combines, right, to form a compound. So when these combine, they form covalent bond. Without their combinations, if they don't combine, for example, hydrogen with oxygen, then the covalent bond will not be formed. Let's look into a different way, specific way of separating specifically sulfur from ion filling. This one can be done. To separate sulfur from ion filling, you have to use what you call a magnet, because a magnet attracts out the ion filling and separate them from sulfur. So the sulfur will remain when the magnetic attract out or remove out the ion filling. Water purification is very important because it prepares water for to be potable and for people to drink. People use different types of filtering processes. including sand. But sand filter is not so good sometimes to be used because it's unable to remove viruses from water, because viruses, they are too tight or they are too small to be removed by sand filtration. But sand can remove things like bacteria and protozoa because they are big, but viruses cannot. That's why it's not advisable to use sand as a filtering process. Let's look into integrating technology in our classroom. The use of technology, such as phones, laptops, computers, in a classroom, can help the learners or the learning to develop critical thinking skills and knowledge, because it improves them or enhance students to be able to be active and be able to solve problems. It improves their problem-solving ability. It enhances their brain to be sharper and think wisely. Technology can help learners to better interpret concepts, scientific concepts, that would otherwise be difficult to grasp. Let's look into Earth and Venus. You have to look into their differences and similarity. A student must be able to differentiate and also give similarity of Earth and Venus. What about Earth and Venus? Earth is the third planet from the Sun. It is the only planet that is known to support life. That's why us people, human beings, and other living organisms, they live on Earth. The Earth spins on its axis once every 24 hours and revolves around the Sun every 365 1/4 days, once a year. Earth's atmosphere is made up of 78% nitrogen and only 21% of oxygen, and the remaining 1% consists of other gases such as hydrogen, methane, carbon dioxide, and argon as well. How about Venus? Venus is the brightest planet in the solar system. It has a dense atmosphere made of mainly carbon dioxide. That is why it doesn't support life. This atmosphere has a greenhouse effect, making Venus as a very hot planet as well. And with excessive heat, living organisms will not survive on Venus. There are more volcanoes on Venus than on any other planet. Venus rotates on its axis very slowly as compared to Earth, taking about 243 days to complete one rotation. Unlike Earth, Venus rotates about its axis in any anti-clockwise movement. Right. The revolution around the Sun takes 225 days to complete, and the year is shorter than the days. That you should know. Let's look into a sample calculation of a certain weight of an object. In this example, we are going to look into the sample of certain bag of, let me say, potato, which is having a mass of 7 kg. The formula used to calculate weight is weight is equal to mass times gravitation times gram. Seven times 10 is equal to 70 Newton. Disadvantage of fossil fuel. When fossil fuel burn, they release a lot of carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide gases into the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that is responsible for global warming. Now, about acid rain. What are the effects of acid rain in the environment? Sulfur dioxide combine with rainwater to form acid rain. Acid rain damages stone structures, buildings, plants, and others. It is run off into river and lakes, and then it makes them too acidic. And this will kill the living organisms in that environment. Specifically, we mean in that water. It will kill fish, it will kill plants, and other things within that water. Because those animals, they are not used to that environment with a lot of acid. What about the advantage and disadvantage of hydroelectric power? Hydroelectric power is one of the important power which is used mostly in many countries. So advantage of hydroelectric or electricity is it is very clean. It does not pollute the environment. It is easy to run, can be switched on and off easily. However, it has a disadvantage of it takes a large surface area of land, and this creates losses of places or spaces such as villages, grazing areas for our animals and others. And it's also very expensive to build. So capital wise is costly. What are the importance of practical learning in science education? Because when you are teaching learners, you also have to expose them to what you call practical learning. Why is important? Practical learning enhance or encourage learners by them engaging in skills development and problem solving situations. As children learn with each other, they learn from each other because they are likely to be more participative with their peers, so they can learn from each other easily as they share ideas. They also learn to communicate with each other effectively. And training children or teaching children, you must also teach them, or they must also be able to communicate within their community. So practical learning, it helps learners at the end of the day, when they finish with their school, to be able to communicate effectively, being at home, being in their community, when they are looking for a job, or anyway. Let's look into the acetate rod. What will happen if you rub acetate rod with the wool? When acetate is rubbed with wool, electrons are being or will be transferred from it to the wool, right? So the wool becomes negatively charged, hence, or since it will gain electrons. So static electricity, how it is being formed? Static electricity is formed when the ice particles rub against the water. Then static electricity is formed. Electrons versus conventional current. What are the difference? Electrons, currents, flows from negative to positive, while conventional current is vice versa. The current flows from positive to negative. Take note of that, student. Criteria for classifying animals. Scientists use different classifications of animals in order for animals to be well understood in the same concept way wherever anybody goes. Okay? So animals, they are classified into different criteria such as kingdoms, phylums, classes, order, family, genus, and species. With that, any scientist will be able to know, or anybody can able to know, this is amphibian, this is a frog, this is a caterpillar, based on this specific unique scientific classification. So students must be able to know those different classifications in detail. What about body systems? Body systems are very important because without a good functioning body system, living organism will be not able to live. Because each body system have its main roles to play. So body systems work hand in hand to help each other to enable living organism live. What are the body systems? We have digestive system, circulatory system, nervous system, muscular system. Digestive system is a system that enables animal to break foods into smaller pieces, and the body will be able to absorb, and the person or living organism will be able to get energies and able to live. Muscular system is about muscles that support the body. Respiratory system is about breathing. Nervous system is about nerves for the body, and circulatory system is about the blood circulations. All right? Ecosystems and habitats. What is the difference or similarity, if any? Students must be able to know the difference. Ecosystem is a community, complete community of living organisms. These are microbes, plants, and animals in a conjunction with the non-living components of their environment. Things like water, mineral, soils, air, which are interacting as one. They are interacting as a system, right? What about habitat? Is an ecological or environmental area that is inhabited by a particular species of animal, plant, or other types of living organism. So take note of that very important differences, because these types of questions or content of information is likely to be asked to students in the exam. The flow of matter and energy in the ecosystem. How does it happens? How does it work? All ecosystems include both biotic and abiotic components, their interactions, and some source of energy. Abiotic, we refer to non-living things, such as sun, such as air in the environment, while biotic, we refer to living organisms. Right? So the ecosystem generally contain primary producer capable of harvesting energy from the sun by photosynthesis process, and of using this energy to convert carbon dioxide and other inorganic chemicals into the organic building block of life. Consumers feed on this captured energy from the producer, primary producer. And decomposers not only feed on this energy, but decomposer also break organic matters back into its organic constituency, which can be used again by producer to make energy. What are the ecosystems that are found in Namibia? We have Central Plateau, Namib Desert, Great Escarpment, Bushweb, Kalahari Desert. These are very important ecosystems found in Namibia. So students must be able to at least know them and explain them in detail. So let's look specifically into a bushweb, the makeup of it. Bushweb is located adjacent to the bushweb in north central Namibia. This one is one of the nature's most spectacular feature. Specifically, let me say Etosha Pen. For most of years, it is very dry, right? Saline wasteland, but during the wet season, it forms a shallow lake covering more than 6,000 square kilometers. The area is ecologically important and vital to the huge number of birds and animals from the surrounding savanna that gather in the region as summer drought forces them to scatter water holes that links the pen. During classes, students do certain calculations in the labs and also in class. Now, what about accuracy? What is the importance of accuracy when doing this activity, scientific activity? Accuracy is important in an experiment so one can come up with the correct answer. Oftentimes, even small error can render data unusable. So for this reason, scientists must learn to use measuring devices in a manner that results in maximum accuracy and precision. So accuracy is important because it provides reliable results. Because, for example, you make certain calculations test in the lab or in the class, but the result is not accurate. It will give false information, and it will give wrong information to the interpreter of information, to the reader, which will lead to wrong decision making. Because wrong information will not be representative of a true situation. And with this, we come to the end of our presentation. Thank you, my student, for your good time, for listening to this presentation. I hope this presentation was very helpful, and at least it will prepare you for your upcoming examination. So please study very well, and should you have any question concerning this content or anything in the study guides or in your assignment, please do not hesitate to contact me, because I'm here to help you. I wish you all the best, and have a nice day.